Okay. Welcome to the November 2023 regular meeting of the Clemson Board of Architectural Review. My name is Todd Howard, and I serve as the chairperson of this meeting. The other members in attendance today are
Nathan Shop,
Peter Metzko,
Kyle McCormick,
Christine Tedesco.
Peter Lawrence.
the Clemson Planning and Codes Office staff member in attendance is Jacob Peabody. The recording secretary of this meeting is Rebecca Wilbanks. BAR members are appointed by the Clemson City Council. The BAR's responsibilities focus on the design aspects of projects located within one of the 5 architectural overlay districts in the city of Clemson. A copy of the agenda for this meeting can be found in the outside lobby. If you are a member of the public and would like to speak regarding a matter on the agenda, you will need to read and sign the speaker's form, which can also be found in the lobby. On the back of the speaker's sign-in form is a list of things that fall within the purview of the BAR and a list of things that don't. You will be asked for the signed form should you choose to speak. Anyone speaking will be required to stand at the podium, and there will be no speaking from the audience. The meeting will be conducted in the following manner. For each agenda item, the BAR will hear a report from the planning staff. After the staff report, the applicant will be given an opportunity to present their application and demonstrate that it complies with the relevant criteria. Any resident or owner of a business or property in Clemson is allowed to comment on the application and provide feedback to the BAR at each review stage. Speakers will be given 3 minutes to provide comments and feedback. Please consider appointing a spokesperson if there are multiple people wishing to speak. Please do not repeat information already presented by someone else. Questions asked by the board during a presentation will not count toward the time limit. At its discretion, the board may allow the applicant 3 minutes for rebuttal. All comments and questions must be directed to the chairperson, who will respond or direct the question to the appropriate party for response. Any written comments received by the planning office a week ago or longer have been submitted to the BAR and will be considered in its decision. After all comments are offered, the chairperson will close the hearing portion of the meeting, and the BAR will discuss and evaluate the information presented in the context of the requirements of the city code. We ask that you please turn off all cell phones or place them in the silent mode. As a reminder to board members, please avoid side conversations and crosstalk. Again, welcome to the meeting. Okay, so first thing on the agenda is adoption of the BAR meeting 2 months ago, since we didn't have a meeting last month. There were a few minor changes we made, just some editing, polishing things on the minutes, but nothing of substance in terms of the content. Would anybody like to make a motion that we approve the minutes from September?
So moved.
Okay, a second?
Second.
All those in favor of approving September's BAR board minutes, please raise your right hand. Okay, so moved. Okay, let's see here. Now we can move to our first action item, which is Building and Site Review 2023 AR16. Applicant Aaron Peter, Project Plus, is requesting approval of new signage at 341 College Avenue. So first we'll hear from Jacob.
Okay. First, I'd like to recognize our intern, Brianna. Thank you for coming to our meeting. She's already been a huge asset for our city, and I hope all you guys get a chance to get to know her, which is very special and very good. Okay, so our first application for tonight is Silver Moon Coffee, also our only application for tonight. They are going to be replacing the awnings for this is the old subway building at the end of College Ave across from the university. Their proposal is to replace the awnings with black awnings, to mount a new wall-mounted sign, replace the existing gooseneck lights with white gooseneck lights, and add a blade sign. The blade sign will be 3 feet by 3 feet. The wall-mounted sign will be 4 feet by 6 feet. All their proposals meet code, and honestly with that, I'll turn it over to the applicant to give their presentation.
And if you just state your name and address before you present.
Hey, I'm Aaron Peter with Project Plus Architects. Address is 516 Ravenna Lane, Greenville, South Carolina. So thank you, Jacob, for the brief presentation, and thank you for your help just in working through the design of this over the last couple months. Only thing I'll add to what Jacob said, so yes, it's a coffee shop that's going into the old subway, Summer Moon Coffee. You can see here in that image we are replacing the canvas, the existing, I think it's green to a black canvas, replacing the existing subway sign with the Summer Moon sign that's in compliance with the zoning ordinance. The 3 gooseneck lights, the only correction I make is we're replacing it with black, gloss black, and that's noted in our submission, highlighted there.
Oh, we lost black.
Yep. And then we've got the blade sign that's internally lit that will go on the front elevation facing Bowden Field. With that, I'll take any questions.
And you're welcome if you want to take a seat and then, questions arise, and we'll move into discussion. Does anybody have any direct questions before we discuss? Something like that?
I guess you're kind of extending that awning on the right side there all the way over that door.
Correct.
Taking that ugly one out, that looks better. Now, do you guys have the downstairs floor as well, or is it
It's part of the suite. Yep.
part of the suite?
It is.
Okay.
So, this is kind of nitpicky, but it's it's a small project, so it kind of lends itself to that. When it comes to the blade sign, I just want to make sure, when you're looking at like that soldier course above the awning on the corner, let's see which document, is that kind of is that really the height where it's going to sit, so that the first arm, the top arm, is kind of at level with the soldier course? Below the actual kind of bracket or pergola that comes out?
Yeah, so we're basically holding the bottom bracket at the head height of that window or all of that. That's what we've aligned it with. And held it, I believe it's 9 feet minimum off the sidewalk.
I think it's actually, because the sign is 36 inches, the moon sign, the round
Yeah, that's
blade
right.
sign.
Correct.
So based on counting bricks and scale, it's actually shown a little large on this version because they're showing about 15 courses of brick. And so it's probably just a hair smaller than that, because that would be right around 38 plus inches. So
Any other questions before we discuss?
Blade signs can be internally lit.
Blade signs are the exception. They can be internally lit.
Now, on the first awning there, it looks like the brick stops a little higher than the others. Are you going to do anything with that? Or is this going to be where the existing is now?
Yeah, there's no, aside from the replacement of the fabric, there's no exterior scope for our tenant.
Okay, then open it up for our discussion. If there are any points that need to be made, or
I think under that first, or above that first awning there on the left, you need at least paint the background there if they're not going to do it in brick, because it just kind of looks a little off with the black.
like paint it to match the trim work on the front,
Yeah.
dark green.
Well,
or you could almost paint it like a limestone color. You have the limestone bandings. It's just a completely different.
Yeah, it's kind of worn out compared to when the new fabric's on it and the new signs. And it's its own color. It doesn't really. That would clean it up a little bit. I'm not sure what that material is behind the awning there.
It's a metal panel. I believe it was an old stained glass window that's just been broken and concealed with a metal panel that's over top of it.
It's a shame. Any other points before we open it up for a decision?
I have to ask for public comment.
Okay. Do we have anybody signed in for public comment and nobody on? Okay. how would we like to proceed then? Anybody want to make a motion?
Well, do you think we should have, I mean, this bottom thing, that it looks like that panel goes all the way down. If I'm not mistaken, it looks like it goes further down from the awning behind it. If we can have that painted, I guess matching the front, the green, because that just on top just looks wrong. And I think with the black, it's gonna, bring it out a little more.
What he's looking at is that second page where it shows the sort of isometric view at the corner.
I think either the dark green to match the window trim
Yeah.
or like the sandstone color, like to match the concrete banding below. Either one.
Seems like an easy fix,
Yeah.
an easy
Yeah.
fix at this point with the scope of the project.
You think the dark green would look better on the black? With the black
It
awnings?
might, since you already have the dark green metal around the windows, yeah. So just color match that.
I have a comment. If you're gonna do that, if you look at, I think it's the fourth page, the side elevation with the black awning, you've got a gutter and downspout on the left and electrical piping on the right. You may as well paint those a terracotta color so they disappear because they're unsightly. So they just disappear into the brick. But I don't know if we can we request that? This is really a sign approval. Can we request any of this? Jake?
I mean, it's not clearly defined on where your
Okay.
boundaries are.
Okay.
And I definitely see the panel behind the awning just because it's in direct
Yeah.
communication with the awning. And I see where you're coming from on the, especially when it comes to the meter, kind of hiding that, but.
Yeah.
You can't really paint a meter though. It's-
Would your client,
You can't paint the meter box itself? Or just the roof?
Not the glass.
Yeah, not the, well. Just get some free power.
And if you're uncomfortable, you can always make that as a suggestion too. You can say, hey, this is required to paint this, but we suggest that you paint the downspout.
That's kind of where my mind is
Yeah.
taking me with the panel, definitely, I would like to
Yeah.
see that, and then I would encourage the downspout and the piping. That just feels like a little beyond the scope.
I would have to see the context of the rest of the downspouts on that street to say that the downspout would need to be. Because if all the downspouts are that, then having one painted would actually be more awkward.
if you look at the second page, it looks like there's
Just that
well,
one.
there may be.
There's another.
There is another
Yeah,
one.
there is one down there where TV is back door.
Behind the light.
Yeah.
Well, if your client is open to that, that would just make the building look better.
So what I'm hearing is maybe the idea of making the motion with the painted panel with a recommendation on the downspout? Yep. The direction.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
I so move.
Okay, so the motion's been made that we approve as presented with the panel behind that front corner awning being painted to match the trim work of the dark green, and a recommendation that the downspouts and the piping be painted to blend in with the brickwork, correct?
Yes.
Would someone like to second that motion?
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay, so moved. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so that brings us to staff reports, other business. Anything else need to be?
Nope. We're about to enter, after our meeting ends, we're gonna be doing it's a planning commission workshop meeting where you guys are invited to participate. And I will be discussing the new Clemson Hub project going in the uptown. And with that, yeah, ready to go.